no conversation about motion capture in the movies can be conducted without mentioning Andy Serkis. Ever since dazzling viewers as Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Serkis has pioneered mocap in Hollywood, going on to play King Kong, Caesar in Planet of the Apes, and Supreme Leader Snoke in Star Wars. Alongside those performances, the actor has started the Imaginarium, a London-based studio that specializes in digital performance capture. Perhaps, then, there's no better person to talk to about how technology will change the future of cinema. We're entering into a different realm now, because entertainment will no longer just be cinemas as we know it, Serkis says. Cinema is slipping away, sadly, apart from tentpole blockbusters. The streamers are taking over. Cinema, Serkis explains, will need to adapt, and there are two technological advances that will revolutionize the way filmmakers tell stories: virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR. Motion capture will, of course, play a big part in that future, as the technique allows actors' performances to be mapped into a 360-degree story. Andy Serkis filming Star Wars: The Force Awakens. There's just no question, the 54-year-old says. Over the next 10 years we will see actors playing VR roles. Now that, Birdman director Alejandro González Iñárritu has made this VR piece, you're going to see many, many more 360-degree stories that use VR capture. Iñárritu's VR project Flesh and Sand, written and directed by the acclaimed filmmaker, was released last year, debuting at Cannes Film Festival and becoming the first VR project to have ever been presented at the event. The 7-minute film, which was awarded a Special Achievement Oscar, sees viewers wear a headset and witness a first-person account of someone walking the border from Arizona to Mexico. Despite the acclaim, there's been some hesitance from classic filmmakers who refuse to accept the inevitable future being VR. Serkis has seen this firsthand, but adds that attitudes are certainly changing. Everyone has thought of it as how do we bring the film experience to VR? What I actually think we need to do is ask how do we bring theater to VR? VR requires a much more visceral performance. You create these avatar characters, but instead of a film narrative, it's a play script that is being brought to life. Bringing VR to everyone remains some way off, as headsets are still expensive. And while the technology may be key to cinema's future, there are still some other dated opinions with regards modern technology that need addressing. Released, the 12th of February. Director, Ryan Coogler. Cast, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Forrest Whitaker, Danai, Martin Freeman. Released, the 1st of January. Director, Michael Gracie. Cast, Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya. Released, the 12th of January. Director, Joe Wright. Cast, Gary Oldman, Kristen Scott Thomas, Ben Mendelsohn. Released, the 12th of January. Director, Martin McDonagh. Cast, Francis McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, Caleb Landry Jones. Greater than. Released, the 19th of January. Director, Lee Unkrich, P. Greater than. Cast, Anthony Gonzalez, Gael Garcia Bernal, Benjamin Bratt, Renee Victor. Released, the 19th of January. Director, Alexander Payne. Cast, Matt Damon, Christopher Waltz, John Chow, Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis. Released, the 26th of January. Director, Nick Park. Cast, Eddie Redmayne, Tom Hiddleston, Maisie Williams, Timothy Spall. Released, the 9th of February. Director, James Foley. Cast, Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, Kim Basinger. Released, The 9th of February director, Wes Ball cast, Dylan O'Brien, Thomas Brody Sangster, Cus Godilario, Giancarlo Esposito, Aidan Gillen released. The 16th of February director, Guillermo del Toro cast, Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Shannon, Michael Stuhlbarg, Doug Jones released. The 23rd of February director, Alex Garland cast, Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, Tessa Thompson, Oscar Isaac released. The 23rd of February director, Cleo Barnard cast, Ruth Wilson, Mark Stanley, Sean Bean released. The 2nd of March director, Francis Lawrence cast, Jennifer Lawrence, Joel Edgerton, Jeremy Irons released. The 16th of March director, Rory Togg cast, Alicia Vikander, Walton Goggins, Daniel Wu, Dominic West, released. The 23rd of March director, Ava DuVernay cast, Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, Zach Galifianakis released. The 23rd of March director, Stephen S. Tonight cast, John Boyega, Scott Eastwood, Charlie Day, Ben Gorman released. The 23rd of March director, Dan Gilroy cast, Denzel Washington, Colin Farrell, Carmen Ejogo released. The 30th of March director, Wes Anderson cast, Bill Murray, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Tilda Swinton, Scarlett Johansson released. The 30th of March director, Steven Spielberg cast, Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cook, Ben Mendelsohn, Mark Rylance, Simon Pegg released. The 27th of April director, the Russo brothers cast, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Josh Brolin released. The 25th of May director, Ron Howard cast, Alden Ehrenreich, Emilia Clarke, Woody Harrelson, Donald Glover released. The 8th of June director, J.A. Bayona cast, Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pine, B.D. Wong, Toby Jones released. The 1st of June director, David Leitch cast, Ryan Reynolds, Morena Baccarin, T.J. Miller, Zazie Beetz, Josh Brolin released. The 22nd of June director, Gary Ross cast, Chandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Mindy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, Anne Hathaway, Olivia Munn, Helena Bonham Carter, Rihanna, Matt Damon released. The 29th of June director, Peyton Reed cast, Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer released. The 29th of June director, Stefano Sollima cast, Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Jeffrey Donovan, Catherine Keener, Matthew Modine released. The 13th of July director, Brad Bird cast, Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Sarah Vowell, Samuel L. Jackson. One talking point earlier this year was the Oscars. Inari 2, who previously won the Best Director award for The Revenant, may have picked up the aforementioned special award, but Serkis remains without anything for the Planet of the Apes trilogy, an astounding series that arguably features the actor's best work. All three movies in the series failed to take home the Best Visual Effects award, and Serkis never even sniffed at an Best Actor Oscar, despite a worthy campaign. Does that bother him? This year, to be fair, the Academy spoke to me a lot about it, Serkis says. They're looking to encompass diversity, looking at the nature of what a performance is. Performance capture, voice acting, animated films as a performance, suit work, like Doug Jones in The Shape of Water. What is the difference between that and John Hurt in The Elephant Man? That's a brilliant performance by a brilliant man caked in makeup. Things, Serkis assures me, will change. Another aspect of cinema that's rapidly changing, and again Serkis has expert knowledge on the matter, has nothing to do with motion capture, but instead blockbuster movies. As mentioned, Serkis has appeared in 2 Star Wars movies and 3 Planet of the Apes in recent years, but many cinema-goers will recognize the actor as Ulysses Klaue, the secondary villain in both Avengers, Age of Ultron and Black Panther. And covered by CGI, Serkis's actual face was finally featured prominently in a multi-million-dollar movie, and both have grossed way over the $1 billion mark. Black Panther trailer. Having worked on all these movies, Serkis has seen something peculiar happen in recent years. The messages contained within blockbusters have changed. It's funny that it has befallen tentpole movies to be the messengers of intelligent discourse, he says. It's not the smaller prestige movies saying something intensely about an issue, but these grand pieces of entertainment, which are really connecting with people. And what are they saying? They all say the same thing: the demise of empathy, of love. Star Wars is about the individual and the ability to unite to overcome the forces of darkness. In Panther, it's about building bridges, not walls. Thematically, it's all circling. These movies are our modern-day mythology, and it speaks to the world. They're prescient movies, and that's because they're great science fiction. The most obviously prescient of all the blockbusters that Serkis has appeared in, and arguably the most revolutionary movie in recent years, is Black Panther. With a black director and predominantly black cast, the Marvel movie has become a cultural milestone, winning rave reviews and a huge box office taking. Watch the first trailer for Andy Serkis's Jungle Book movie Mowgli. It feels like the tide is changing, Serkis says. In a sense, it's a shame, because all movies should be like Panther. We should have arrived at this point a hell of a long time ago. The world is obviously polarized at the moment, but there are big movements happening which are fighting against the division. This plays a big part in that. While we talk about blockbusters, I realize something: the majority of characters Serkis has played recently have been killed off. There's no point asking about sequels to these movies because, should they happen, he won't likely have any part. I've been killed off in 3 major films in the last 6 months, he jokes. Perhaps Disney has a vendetta against Serkis because of his upcoming rival Jungle Book adaptation? It's a strange situation. That Jungle Book adaptation, formerly titled Jungle Book Origins but now simply called Mowgli, technically marks Serkis's directorial debut. Although his Andrew Garfield starring brief may have reached cinemas last year, debuting at the London Film Festival, Mowgli was filmed much before the biopic. Post-production has led to the delay. It's been a long time coming, says Serkis, and I'm super excited by it because it's actually really great. Perhaps it's difficult to go from helming a movie to just acting in one. I love it. I love going between the two. Because when you're helming a film, the responsibility is gigantic, the pressure is intense, for a long period of time. Going off and acting in projects, you just focus on the character you're playing. And although Serkis may enjoy just acting, the director continues working on Animal Farm at the Imaginarium and will soon have to embark on an enormous press tour for Mowgli. No rest for this pioneer. Black Panther is available on DVD and Blu-ray now.